Fantastic. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
This is our very first class, you all. It is 8:06 night where I am in Chicago. And it is 9:06 there in Nassau. But I hope we have some people joining us from the Family Islands. I know that the Ministry of Education, who is our partner in this collaborative work, was trying very hard to prioritize our Family Island teachers. Welcome, everybody. Shara, if you don't mind catching screenshots for me of the names too, so we can sort of have not an attendance list, but I know who's in the room. My name is Kristen Carroll, and I'm from the Shirley Hall Bass Legacy Project and Foundation. We are in collaboration with the Ministry of Education and the University of the Bahamas, starting a performing arts education initiative. This is our first week of this initiative. We've met with principals from throughout the region. We met with artistic content experts who are going to be developing performing arts standards. And you all are my favorite part of this program because you are a professional learning community that has come together today to both teaching artists, singers, dancers, theater people who are in the space with us, as well as classroom teachers. And we are here together with a commitment to the children of the nation to learn how to collaborate, to learn how to come to understand different ways by which we can bring performing arts education into the everyday classroom. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to our professor. I have another slide here. And I will go back to sharing, and we have a little bit of introducing to do. Ms. Portier, would you like to, as the professor, introduce yourself to the group?
Good morning, good morning, good morning, all. My name is Sharon Poitier. I'm a retired educator, former Deputy Director of Education. I had responsibility for curriculum and the development of curriculum. I'm presently an adjunct professor at the University of the Bahamas, and I am absolutely thrilled to be part of this initiative. And so thank you so much. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Chris.
Fantastic. Okay, and so Dr. Nicolene DeGrasse Johnson has joined us today. She is going to be a special guest from Jamaica, and she's going to be sharing with us not only her expertise around Jamaican Junkanoo, but also her really valuable and unique perspective around culture and identity. So Dr. DJ, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Good morning. Good morning. I am in Jamaica. I work in Jamaica, and it's also 8:09 here. So I am pleased to be with you. I am an arts educator. My major has been in dance for forever, but then I decided that we needed more in our schools in Jamaica, and so I was also part of the team that worked on the theater arts curriculum for the Caribbean Examination Council. And so because of that, I was able to see the other art forms in the value in which we can have them come together as part of the lives of our young people. And so I'm an advocate for the arts in education. I work and teach at every level. And so I'm excited to be here because I'm about developing the arts for the Caribbean, see more schools in the arts in the Caribbean, see more of our children get involved in the arts. And so when I was invited to be part of this process, I jumped at it because it is what it is. So thank you for having me. And as we go through, I'll let you know more about me. So thank you.
I really, I'm grateful for Nicolene joining us because I met her 6 years ago. It was right before the pandemic, having read her dissertation around building a national performing arts curriculum for dance in Jamaica. And it was so exactly what resonated with me in my experience in the Bahamas. I'd like to introduce my friend Shara Goldsmith. Shara is here as our Jedi officer for the Shirley Hogg Bass organization, but she's also here as a leader and participant with her vast understanding of culture and identity. Shara, can you tell us a little bit about you?
Good morning, everyone. I am Crown Bahamian via the world. My background is in the performing arts. I'm a former Miss Talented Teen Bahamas. I spent 17 years in Turks and Caicos teaching in international schools, and I had my own dance school over there, dance company. I recently finished my master's in education in Barbados in the psychology of education. And as someone who myself is born disabled and has discovered multiple layers of disability as I've gotten older, as an artist, as a performer, choreographer, as a human being, this work is really important. And so I have the role of the Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Officer, as well as like outreach and just, whatever needs to get done. So welcome to you guys, and I'm excited to be here.
I just realized that in an email that was sent out to the group, it says 9 a.m. No, and I just am communicating somebody. We are in the Zoom now. There's always that time change thing going on. We are in the Zoom now. Hello, everyone. Okay, so we want to know who you are. We are going to be together for several weeks. And Saturday mornings is, I know, a real commitment for a lot of people. That was my grocery time and my laundry time, so I appreciate you all being here. And one of the things we're going to be talking about is how we're part of a professional learning community. If it's within your boundaries, Shar, we had some norms that we were given before, which I'm not going to lay on you now. But if you don't mind turning your camera on, that would help us to get to know you. If it's not in your boundaries, that's okay. But I'm gonna take the slideshow down now so you can take some time letting us know who you are. Here's some things that I'm looking for. Your name, your background. We'd really like to know what school you're at, what grade level you teach, why you've joined us today. I mean, I'm not sure how the Ministry of Education communicated this opportunity to us. So was it a voluntary thing? Give us a little bit of background about your experience in the arts if you have some. It's not obviously required for this class. And take your time. Don't feel rushed. We are getting to know each other. And of course, what is your favorite Bahamian dish? Because I think you might be surprised how much we're going to be talking about culture today. So I will stop my share. And so we can all have a little bit of a meet and greet. Hi, everybody. Hello. Hello. Hi, Lamont Gibson. I heard you were coming.
Sure.
Yes. Shara, how was everything? When I saw your name, I said, Shara, I haven't seen you in years.
Blast from the
Good to see
past
you.
for sure. Good to see you, man. Looking good.
It's good to be here. Thanks. You yourself.
Well, I will say this as a work, so you have context for this work. I said my name is Kristen Carroll, but I didn't explain that back in the day I was a COB lecturer and I taught in the School of Education. And my primary responsibility in the School of Education was those freshman students, philosophy of education, but also the class called 228, which was integrating dance and music into the classroom. I've been doing this work for about 25 years. I've taught graduate school in the States for 12 years. Again, my focus was on methods of arts integration. And I have been a curriculum development specialist for a lot of private organizations, like the Joffrey Ballet in Chicago, Columbia College, and a number of large non-profit arts agencies. Currently, I'm enjoying a new third, fourth, fifth, sixth career. I don't know what's going on. I'm now a director of the theater in Chicago on Main Stage Theaters in Chicago. I'd spent quite a bit of time somewhere balanced between choreographer and classroom teacher, where I taught in the classroom for 20 years. I was first grade, second grade, fourth grade. I taught for 20 years. So I have a sort of a breadth. Yes, we are recording. Thank you. I have a breadth of knowledge and background, specifically in arts integration, but I also want you to know that I'm both an artistic practitioner and an educator. So I hope to understand and learn from both sides of the room and that we all come together. So without further ado, Lamont Gibson, I believe I saw you last playing at the Spotlight Lounge, and you're an interdisciplinary artist. Can you tell us about yourself so we can get to know you better before we journey on this hard work for 8 weeks together?
Certainly. Well, I'm a local performing artist in the Bahamas. Morning to everybody. First, I perform at many venues, including a lot of the larger hotels, Bahama and Atlantis included. So I'm predominantly a jazz trumpet player. That's what I'm known for. But I also play percussions, congas, sing, and I also dabble with the guitar. Before all of this, though, I was a dancer as well at Sandals. So I dabble in a few things. Um, I teach privately, and I also taught a little bit at the Bahamas Music Academy. But I do not teach in the circle in terms of education music industry. I don't. So this is definitely an opportunity for me to get more integrated into this program and find out more how I can actually give more back to our youth as well. So that's why I'm totally interested. And I'm here. So definitely a
Fantastic.
pleasure to be here.
And what is your favorite Bahamian dish?
Mm, I'm not a fish man particularly, but I like my grouper.
Dish, anything, any Bahamian cuisine, anything.
Grouper. I give him my grouper. Steam grouper. Steam grouper is me. So I'm a
Do you see anybody who you know in this chat right now? Because I think Naomi's coming.
well, I spoke to her 2 o'clock this morning. Shara is an old friend of mine. I think I saw Tanya Hanna's name in the list as well. I don't see it in the video. But yes, there are a few persons that I know in the group.
All
Joseph
right.
Edwards.
Okay, Joseph. Well, he just called your name, so you've got to talk to us, Joseph. Who are you? Welcome.
Pleasant morning. I pray that all is well with everyone. Joseph Edwards. I would have been born in Freeport, registered in New Providence, and taken to Trinidad and Tobago, where I spent most of my life. Then I decided to come back. I left teaching there, and I came back and I went into the construction industry. And so I built a couple homes, and it was going pretty well, but I missed the kids. And so I applied to get into teaching. And so in 97, I started teaching in a primary school in New Providence. And I went on to junior high, CFR where I spent 10 years. And from there, I went to Grand Bahama, where I spent 7 years. And now I am in Eleuthera, where I am 1 year and 1 month. I love the kids. I love performing arts. I don't consider myself a great musician or musically inclined, really, but I love to sing. I love to dance. I love music. And I love imparting what I know to others. So one of my main hobby is meeting people, learning what they do, and trying to learn it also and give to others. My favorite Bahamian dish would be sheep tongue sauce. I don't know. I will travel up and down the islands just to find that. I remember in Grand Bahama one night, I just was jonesing for this thing, and I was like, "What is going on?" And I traveled to 5 destinations till I finally found some, which I had to doctor it anyway. It was in Lucaya, Port Lucaya, and that was the Greeks, Zorbas, who had it. When I tasted it, I was like, no, this is not the Nasuvian sheep tongue sauce. So I went home and fixed it up.
Hit and miss.
Yeah. And so, yes, so that's me.
Do you see anyone you know in the chat?
Yes, Kirshina Blenman. Welcome, my dear. She was the first person that I saw inside. I know, well, not that close, but I know of Lamont and Miss Goldsmith there. Yes.
So Ms. Blunman, you've been called out. You're next.
I know, right? Good morning, everyone. My name is Christina Blenman. I'm a music teacher, a senior craft instructor at Claridge Primary in New Providence. I've been teaching for about 20 years. In the government system, 7 years. I started off my music career at Gray's Music Center. I started off there being a secretary. And then eventually I ended up learning the music arts and fell in love with it. So that's where I got most of my training. And then I went off to the government system. And I've been teaching there for 7 years now. It's an experience, different from private school. Yeah, but I still love it. I'm enjoying it.
And what is your favorite Bahamian dish?
Wow. Now I love the grouper as well. I love the sheep tongue sauce. I love the peas and rice, macaroni, potato salad. So it's a whole lot. I'm not limited to one. I just love good food.
Thank you so much for sharing. I knew this was a way of us connecting through our culture, because I was going to ask you with the sheep's tongue sauce, how much pepper? When you said you were doctoring it, I heard you, Mr. Edwards. You had to fix it up. It wasn't right.
Yeah, we love that pepper and the lime.
Who do you see in the chat, Miss Blenman?
I see Miss Lewis, the principal of EP Roberts. I met her when I was teaching at St. Bede's, and I also see Lester Johnson.
Well, I heard the principal called out. I sure did. Hello.
Let's go, Miss Lewis.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Audrey Lewis. I am the principal of VP Roberts Primary School. Yes, Ms. Blenman and I go way back. Over 20 years ago, we worked at at St. Bede's together. St. Bede's no longer exists, but that's the Stanley Thompson now through Sutton Street and Camp Road. I was a third grade teacher at the time, and so Ms. Blenman and I go way back. And I
Can I have, is that just me breaking up, or can
No,
everyone?
I think it's just a feed.
I can hear it all.
Yeah, she's breaking up on my end as well.
Ms. Roberts, we're going to give it a second and let you just, we're going to all pray for the reset of the computer. Oh, we've got an AI companion. Yes, we can start the AI companion. And Ms. Roberts, do you want to just try that one more time?
Miss Lewis.
Who is, oh, I've got somebody else on my screen. Who is speaking?
This is Audrey
Lewis from EP Roberts, but she's still breaking up, I think.
You are, okay. Well,
Chris, sorry to interrupt. Can we enable captions? Please.
Can you hear me better now?
mm-mm.
Can you hear me?
It's a little scratchy. Let's try the next person and wait for that signal. They used to say water on the line when I was a kid. Anybody remember water on the line? What does that mean? On earth, I had my childhood was like all of the telephone cables ran under the water. And I had an imagination of water on the line. Who else did we call out? We had someone else. I'm looking how to set up captions, you guys. Please excuse my roaming eyes.
Lester Johnson was called out.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
My name is Lester Johnson. I'm currently the music teacher at Aubrey Sale Primary School. I've started my teaching career in Great Albuquerque, the Berry Islands at R.N. Gomez All-Age School. A little history about myself. I went to government high school, a performing arts school here in the Bahamas, and aside from going to government high, I've just always had great music teachers from primary school to junior high to high school and in college. So I think that's where my passion for performing arts and music specifically came from. I studied music at Bethune-Cookman University, and I was in marching band for 4 years where I played the trumpet. Currently, I do have a school choir. Like I said, my primary instruments are the trumpet. I also play the clarinet. I have a passion for choirs, vocal choirs, classical music, you know, operas, Broadway, that type of stuff, and everything performing arts in general. My favorite Bahamian dish, I would say, is an old-fashioned Scotch conch. Can't go wrong with an old-fashioned Scotch conch salad. You know, and if you want to spice it up, a nice daiquiri on the side, Miami Vice daiquiri. Tip it off the top. My
And can I
someone else.
ask, I'm sorry, I want specifically which conference that is that you're going to. Is that like an Arawak Key situation, or are you off the dock?
You know, definitely Awaki. Twin brothers for the daiquiri. Definitely Awaki.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Someone I see in the chat I know is my dynamic cooperating teacher from when I did teaching practice, Mrs. Minus.
Hello, I knew you would call me. Good morning. Well, thank you, Lester. My name is Danae Minus. I have been teaching for about 13 years now at SU McPherson. I'm the subject coordinator there, the head of the department. I was recently granted the title of senior teacher there as well. I have been in love with music. It's in my blood, literally. I come from a long line of educators. My mother was actually also a music teacher, performing arts educator. I think I got into performing arts because I didn't see my life as black and white, and I thought, you know, performing arts was color. So every day, and as an educator, no day is the same. So I fell in love with education as well as performing arts. I'm at SU McPherson, like I said. My birthday is March 20th. It's on Thursday. Happy birthday. Definitely a Pisces. What else about me? I don't think there's anything else. Oh, and my favorite dish is conch salad or crab and rice. And I like the tropical one with mango.
Who do you see in the chat?
Oh, well, Lester. I know, I've not personally, but I know I've heard of Miss Blendman, but I think I'm the end of the line. Oh, and Miss Tania Sands. Yes, my girl.
Excuse me, Miss Minus.
Yes, hi.
The Blendman, that probably is my sister, Pauline Blendman.
Yes, it is.
Yes, that's my sister. She is in Eleuthera now. She's not a music teacher anymore. She's a senior mistress. And she remarried, so now she's Pinder. But yes, that's my sister.
Nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet you too.
Is that Miss Hannah? You gotta unmute yourself for me, love.
Yes, it is. How are you?
Hello.
Hello, everyone. Can you see me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good morning. Did you want me to say something or?
I'm sorry, I don't know if you got the introduction. Hello and welcome. You're introducing yourself, the name of your school. If you're a teaching artist, what your practice is, give us something about your background, your favorite Bahamian cuisine, food or dish.
Okay, go ahead.
And then if you see someone you know in the chat, you're going to tag them to go next.
Let's see. Let me see. My name is Tanya Hanna. I'm a musician, entertainer. I currently perform at Sapodilla. I teach privately. I've been in the school system for 24 years. I got out of the school system. I have my own private practice. What else about me? I am at Sapodilla. I'm a pianist, vocalist, recording artist, writer. Body beautiful, what? Body youthful practitioner. What else? Yeah, okay. I think my favorite food? Oh, let's see. I love boiled food. And I like it at VG's. And I
I
like
love it.
and lemon.
Thank you for specific places to go, because when I come now, I don't always have a kitchen, and I'm more reliant on takeout than I'd like to be, so I need these very specific locations.
Oh, good, good. You'll like VG's. They're very good.
Yeah, fantastic. Who do you see in the chat?
In the chat.
Who can you call out that hasn't gone yet? Or if we're at the place that you know you haven't gone yet and you want to raise a hand, please do.
Everyone here is new for me. There's one person who's going to be coming on in a second. She's not here yet. That's Naomi Taylor. I would have called her out, but I don't see anyone here that I know. I see, is that Pamela Burnside?
You probably did sneak in. Where's Pamela Burnside? I bet she is in this chat. Pamela, introduce yourself. She's one of our guest lecturers. Her session, we have such a committed team. Pamela,
Okay.
would you mind introducing yourself? She might not be expected to be on the spot because it's not her day. She might be a silent observer.
I don't see anybody else I know.
So let's see. If you have not had a chance to introduce yourself, please go ahead.
Hi, Tanya.
Sorry.
Hi, hey, how are you doing?
I'm fine.
Great. Oh, that's Lamont. Hey, how are
Oh
you?
my God.
I
For a
didn't,
second, I was wondering if my cameras work.
well, I don't see my camera was working, so yeah, maybe. I don't know. I can see
Good to see
you.
you. It's good to see you.
Good to see you here too. Yes.
Sorry to disturb. This is Mrs. Minus here again. I forgot to mention my focuses are voice, choir, or drama.
Thank you, talented person, for coming today. I can't wait. I hear all this talent. Y'all hear this talent? We got the school teachers and we got the artists. This is going to be our thing now. Who's next? Thank you for that.
Is Miss Lewis gonna join us again? Is there Miss Lewis from EP Roberts Primary?
You're going to try? Yes, please. Try that microphone one more time. We want to hear from you. We tried.
You're probably still trying to get it sorted.
So we had skipped just a tiny little slide. So I'm going to go back to sharing my screen, and Shara is going to give us some norms. As I said, Shara Goldsmith is our Jedi officer. And what I've tasked Shara with throughout this entire process is keeping us focused on diversity and differentiation and the students with different needs, both the gifted and the disabled. So if she is in the chat reminding us we are about learning for all. And I think we also believe that that all of these efforts that we make to address people that are different, those are best practices for all. It's just good teaching. So Shara, I'll share my screen again and let you talk about these norms that we're going to try in our group today. I hope that's the right screen. And I'll get a slideshow.
Trying to get back to the screen here.
No worries. I'm just getting to myself. There you go. I think it's up for you now.
All right, I just want to see if I can drop that in there. It's not letting me drop this. Yes. Okay, so we want to make sure everybody can hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so of course, when you come in, we would like for you to introduce yourself, write your name, where you may have gone to school, where you're from, give us a little bit about yourself, your art form, or if you're a teacher, what school you teach at, just a little bit about yourselves. Please make sure to mute your mics so that we can be respectful when others are speaking, and also to sort of minimize that sort of feedback and overlapping. This one is, I wrote this for me, okay? because you know, people may have different needs, different situations. You might have kids running around. You might be a carer of someone in your space. So please just do whatever you need to make yourself comfortable during the meeting. Keep your water and your snacks close, get an extra cushion, make yourself comfortable, make yourself a cup of tea, some coffee. Please ask questions, write any questions you have in the Zoom chat. Remember to listen and engage with other participants respectfully. Be an active participant and contributor in the chat and breakout rooms. This really only works if you guys are engaged and interactive with us when we're asking you questions. We need your feedback because part of this process is, like Chris said, learning about you and wanting to know what your needs and what your perspectives and what you may see as solutions to problems that might exist, et cetera, et cetera. Yes, and again, be an active participant and contributor in the chat and breakout rooms. People just get quiet in them breakout rooms, boy. So just make sure that you know, we really do want to hear from you. You are valued. Your experience, your expertise, your time, your energy is valued. Use the reactions feature. Okay, this is my favorite part. So if you go down to the bottom of the Zoom, we have discovered that the react feature comes with effects. So now instead of just pressing the reactions, you can press send with effect, and this is what happens. So in order to make this process a little fun and to get some reactions from you guys in real time, this is a way that you can interact with us that is respectful and fun. So yes. Also, please utilize Zoom's accessibility features if you need them. I usually do. I enjoy closed captions because my brain needs visuals and I need to be able to read what people are saying in order to understand them, you know. I don't know if anybody else has that problem. I watch all my programs with my captions on. We also have AI transcription and AI companion available. If you haven't upgraded, I guess, or maybe turned that on, it's actually a really helpful feature because if you've had to step away or maybe you've kind of wandered off in your thinking and you've missed something, you can always press the AI companion and it usually comes up with 4 options. Catch me up. Was my name mentioned? Are there any action items and what topics have been discussed? And I find this very helpful. So that is available for you to use. And also we'd love to see your faces. But again, if you feel more comfortable or if you're in your situation where your camera needs to be off, that is fine. And the last thing is, please, we are human. My work and the work that we are doing here is about humanity first. So please take a break if you need it. Okay, if you need to step away, turn your camera off, get up and move, use the bathroom, whatever, please feel free to do that. All right, and I'm gonna throw that back over to Chris. I'm trying to finish that thing that
Thank you. You're wonderful.
Okay.
Well, lady. I also want to tell my facilitators and friends that I put one thing, I just reordered the top of the document. So we have this quote from our leader today. Why arts education? This isn't, oh, no, I'm sorry. This is not. This is Nicolette Bethel. You know her from her work at the Dundas Theater. She said that I believe powerfully in the healing, human-centered nature of theater. Theater and performance are not luxuries. They are at the core of what it means to be human. If we are made in the image of the Creator, creative activity is both central to our being and the source of our divine spark. Until we raise our children with the knowledge of the power and healing of performance, we will continue to struggle with the problems that stem from our own brokenness, offering no accessible way to mend it, right? So she is going to be one of the presenters for this class. Every week, we're going to be introduced to a different Junkanoo professional, a practitioner, a historian, including, I have to acknowledge, Arlene Nash Ferguson, who created basically the concept for this class. And it's that the performing arts is the stuff and not the fluff. And this is my own sort of direction that I'm going in, is that we often think, oh, when we have enough money or enough time, or, oh, isn't that, this nice little fluffy addition to our identity, addition to our culture? Really, performing arts is our culture. It is what we are. It is who we are. So with that perspective, I am going to just give a brief context for why we're in this class, how we are a part of this national performing arts education system. Oops, wrong way. We have an, oops. Doesn't want to go. There we go. Okay, so we are getting to know each other. The way we are working this course is through something called a professional learning community. And a professional learning community is different than just a regular class. It's different than, most professional learning I've experienced, and that is we're actually trying to build relationships. We started off with who do you already know? What relationships, acknowledging the relationships that are already in this space. We have other guest lecturers throughout the series joining us. Angelique McKay just got the Zoom link from me. I'm sure Naomi is here now, and she was incredible in recruiting the artists who were partnering with the Ministry of Education teachers for this course. As we get to know you today, we're going to be annotating and writing down your grade level band that you teach. And as the artist, which grade level you are interested or you feel more comfortable with. Some of us are high school people, some of us like the little ones, some of us don't. We like kids all the way around, it's fine. But with a little bit of surveying, which you'll get a survey at the end of today, we'll be able to put you into partnerships where you, as a classroom teacher, we'll have a teaching artist, a singer, a dancer. Many, if you've not heard this already, many of the people who joined us today are interdisciplinary artists, which is phenomenal because we're really focused on integration and interdisciplinary learning overall. So, Mr. Gibson, thank you for coming again. But we're going to put these two groups together so that you have a partner. So you can say, we listened to this incredible lecture by Arlene Nash Ferguson. That's next week. And she gave us all of these ideas about how it's economics, and Junkanoo is related to history, and Junkanoo is related to our identity as an African people, that we have a relationship to another continent. All of these things might be sparking ideas in the teacher's mind, sparking ideas in the artist's mind, and you're going to have a collaborative partner in these breakout rooms to then be supported as you develop lesson plans and learning for the Bahamian children. That's the goal. So the professional learning community is our methodology. When I first engaged in this experience, I was like, why are we spending so much time just talking about, us? And it's because we get to know each other, we get to value each other, our identities, and we can build better works that last and that relationships that are sustained. So let me orient myself now to giving you a very quick introduction to our program. Oh, this is fun. That slide was not supposed to be in that spot, but it's a cute share, and it gives a little bit of context for the work that our organization has been doing up until now. And that we started as an organization really with the intention of supporting dance education, because my aunt Shirley Holbass was a dancer, and she contributed quite a bit to dance in the country. And in recognizing sort of a shift in the priorities of the country, we didn't see the same amount of live entertainment that I grew up with in the 70s and 80s. There was no King of Nights happening. We don't see the same over the hill entertainment like Zanzibar and Cat and Fiddle. And so our organization really was based in sort of understanding what was going on and how we could advocate for performing arts. And of course, that meant education. And very quickly, we took on the realization that to broaden our voice, that the performing arts overall were very relevant. So we have a number of really sort of brief session objectives. We have 3 hours in this Zoom, but today, like I said, we're really focusing on understanding why we're here, what we're going to be coming together about. We have a syllabus that I think was shared with you. If you guys could like thumbs up in the chat or practice Char's reactions for me. You should have gotten, when you got your Zoom link, I think a syllabus was shared with you. We're going to be updating that I want you to consider that a live document as our guest lecturers continue to provide us with the resources and additional pieces for their specific lectures. But basically each session, we're going to come together. This is our introduction session. But each session will start with a lecture. Dr. Nicolette DeGrasse Johnson is going to be our launch for today. And then we'll talk about how that's related to curriculum, social studies objectives, language arts objectives, math objectives, how these Junkanoo concepts that we know our children are basically connected to because it's a part of the culture, that we know our teacher friends, that you, I hope, are connected to because it's the ethos of the Bahamas, that then we'll start understanding the concept and model. So I'll just jump through these very quickly. The National Performing Arts Initiative is, this is just a piece of this. Overall, we're going to be really focused on culturally responsive and equitable practices. We're talking about practical skills in curriculum development. I have a very good friend, Janjita Robinson. She's I don't know if you guys remember the show In Living Color. She went to Sammy Dyer. She came to the Bahamas often on cultural exchange. She was one of Shirley's favorites. She's also an incredible educator. And she said, Chris, keep it basic with these people. We want to make sure that we don't alienate them with too much up here. Yes, we're talking about complex ideas around integration and overlapping and interdisciplinary applications, but we're also talking about simply letting the kids have some joy in the classroom, to move and sing and dance and enjoy the relationships and building community, to get those body and motor breaks. These are the practical skills, right? So bear with me as I'm trying to stretch us into these really sort of interesting concepts and interdisciplinary arts integration, as well as recognizing that our children already know what they need, and that's movement and joy in their classroom. So practical methods, hopefully Sharon and I will have I have a folder for you today for this first week of different sample models of tools that you can use to help shape your thinking around your lesson planning and working together with your partner. If my arts educators right now, if Lamont's and my Naomi's are going, whoa, Chris, it's so much education. That's why we're in partnership. Everyone has their own strength and discipline, and we're holding each other's hand through this work. We're going to be developing language and tools so that when the teachers who have participated in this course go back into their schools, they can articulate how it's not something that we do after school. It's not something just for the kids who can afford it, but that performing arts education is for everyone, right? That's our goal. Finally, it's important to understand that as a part of our overall initiative, the work that you guys are doing is shaping and forming the development of national performing arts initiatives. I'm so happy to hear we have somebody in the house who was in Trinidad and Tobago, because that is the only country in the region that has the type of standards and does the type of classroom primary school and public school that we're proposing for the Bahamas. So I'm hoping that your schooling experience is something that was relevant and that you remember, and that there was performing arts there in Trinidad and Tobago. Who was that? If you don't mind, can you say who that was again? I didn't write it down.
That was Joseph Edwards.
Okay. And did you have it in public school? Is my research?
Yes, in public school, all the teachers teach all the subjects. So I would have gone to a Catholic school, and the nuns there actually taught music and dance.
There we go. Thank you for that. So we don't want Trinidad and Tobago to be superseding us, do we, people? No, we have to catch up. So we're also building your teacher leader and teacher confidence so that this entire initiative can take place. So bear with me right now as we are already at 15 minutes into our Zoom meeting. I'm going to go to the next slide, but I think it would be, before we get into this, great for us to just take a 5-minute break. So I'm going to escape my screen because 15 minutes is a long time. I appreciate you all paying attention. Stop share. Hi, everybody. So you can turn your cameras off for about 5 minutes. Do what Shara asked you to do. Take care of yourselves. Get some water, stretch your legs. Think about all these people in this Zoom and how committed the Bahamas is to performing arts education. I'm excited. And come back at let's go ahead and let's take 8 minutes, 9 minutes so I can get myself together. I'm getting ready to go from the hallway because I left my key at home into my office when someone comes to let me in. So we'll come back right at the 10 o'clock hour. Thank you all. We'll see you at 10 o'clock and get started. Hello, I'm going to bring this slideshow back for us. I had a little music last time. That's what this is about. I had a different song. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. That was a wonderful break. I'm all lined up in duplicate and triplicate. I think our slideshow is like 60 slides long now. Because I'm always, yeah, this is what I know about y'all. Thumbs up if you're always over prepared and you think you're not really ready. Go ahead and tell on yourselves. Tell on yourselves how you think you're never ready, but God's got you totally ready and prepared all the time. Let's take your mouse, go to the bottom where it says react. There's a heart button on the bottom. Click on that heart button. This Shara was showing us today. Go to your reactions, click on the reactions and see where it says, guess what? Share. How come you can share with the fact? That's not even an option I have. Raise hand. How come I have like the low budget version? How come Nicolene can do it? Wait, I think UB might have to give us a discount, Professor. I don't have the chat animation version. I don't know what's.
Your camera needs to be on, Chris.
Oh, is that what? Oh, hello.
I think so, yeah.
Look, Naomi's in the house. Thank you, Naomi. Let me try it one more time. I'm trying to lead the
You
lead.
still have a cheap version.
The
It's still a cheap version.
Why did I jump to the fact that we were being discriminated against? Why? Because I'm living in the United States. That's why.
Yeah.
Somehow we've got sub anything, not in the Bahamas, right? This is what I love about home. So I'm going to send you all a little love just to show that I'm back on board. Now that we're back, I'd like to give you some context for what we're doing here. And that is to understand why this C-Learn class, the lessons, the relationships that we're building, how it fits into our larger scheme of things. And following that, we'll have an opportunity to watch an incredible film by a Bahamian artist and talk about the relationship between the program that I'm proposing and the video that I've shared. So is everyone back? All ready to go? Here we go. Share the screen. Sound. Share. Slideshow. And I've got my outline in my hand and my friends in my WhatsApp. If team. So the National Performing Arts Initiative is something that we proposed 2 years ago. I was kind of surprised when I was going through my emails and I realized I started talking in the Ministry of Education in 2023 about this project. And it's a comprehensive program. That is that we recognize that the country at this time does not have the same opportunity that Lawrence Carroll had to go abroad to get a degree in dance education paid for by the Ministry of Education and Culture. We don't have those programs available. And so there is a shortage of trained and qualified dance and drama experts. Of course, the University of the Bahamas does certify teachers in music and visual art. I was a part of that programming and development for those advanced courses for the arts certification back in 2000. But what we will not have, if we do not have the programming that you all are participating in, we won't have anybody to go to that degree program at the University of the Bahamas that we've been advocating for. If we don't expose the children to performing arts when they're in primary school, they will not be prepared for a secondary approach in high school to have the skills necessary. And I don't know that they would even know that that's what they would want to do in college if we don't give them that option. Pamela Burnside will talk about the orange economy as an entirely separate and equally valuable and important reason. It's specific to the Bahamas that we are still doing live performance and entertainment, but it is a tourist economy. So we've had stakeholder meetings already this week this is our launch week with professional development workshops with the principals and other school leaders because this work will not go forward if the principals don't believe in what we're doing, if the principals think it's some fluff and not the stuff. Right now, this past Wednesday, we met with Dr. Ian Strawn, who is an incredible playwright and author, filmmaker, and also the vice president at the University of the Bahamas. Courtney Celeste Spears, who's a Bahamian American ballerina. I don't know. I think I got some people about my age in this audience. So if I say Charlie Bahamas Smith, you're going to remember my VH1 friend from childhood, who's coming on as a media arts specialist, in addition to Keyshawn Monroe. These are incredible, talented Bahamians that are going to be contributing to the development of our national standards. We're going to have a public review of that document this summer, which I hope you guys will be a part of. We have a forum every year hosted by the University of the Bahamas, and this year we'll be reviewing these new performing arts standards that you are helping to inform by your participation in this class. The last part of our goal is to work with advocacy and support, because I'm not one of those people who's coming down to sell the Bahamas some goods and go home with my money and not come back. This is my home. My son was born here. I grew up in the Bahamas. I feel like I'm second generation from Chicago, Bahamian. And we have to make sure that the work is sustainable. So hopefully through careful development and continued support, we're going to see this work. The way we're framing our performing arts education, this is for our work together for the next 8 weeks, is we're looking at it through 4 main disciplines. And I kind of always like sort of push back against that idea of discipline, right? Because no one ever walks up to you and gives you an algebraic formula to compute while you're at the grocery store. The lessons that we learn in isolation through school, I think, make children, I think it alienates the kids. They don't understand what this has to do with real life. They don't understand what this has to do with changing the battery in their car, or, I'm sure trying to figure out the percentage of they can afford the mortgage or not. There needs to be a life and integration of life. And of course, the performing arts does that for us. So I'd like you to consider performing arts, dance, drama, music, and media arts, which is film, animation, the beginning of the news, when you see all these incredible engaging animations that are swirling around, letting us know it's time to watch the news. And that we are using this at the center of all of this, rather than really specific, oh, I want you to point your foot and do 2 pirouettes or play this violin. Yes, there will be skills taught in the work we're doing. We value skills, we value knowledge, but in the Bahamas, what we are focusing on is social and emotional learning, which now that we have parents that are not at home, everybody's trying to make a dollar. Parents are not, out working so very hard. The kids just don't have the same interaction. Grandparents are still working, right? We just don't have the same cultural support, and it's fallen to the teachers. I can make this pleasant because we can turn it into a song and a dance, right? This extra burden we have of providing the children with an understanding of social justice and 21st century learning goals. On the bottom, we have this identity, skills, and intellect, criticality, and joy. Like I said, this has been a 2-year initiative just to get it started. And Minister Hannah Martin said in our meeting last August, where is the joy? And I really have to give her credit. I've never met a politician with such she really is so committed. Where is the joy, right? We very often in school will focus on analysis and critical thinking. Yes, those are important things, but the arts provide both, right? The mind, right? The body and the spirit. Okay, there goes the phone. Sorry, friends. So here's how we are imagining ourselves. You all are right at the base of this work. You are the people. You're the grassroots. You are the bottom purple line called continuing education. This is the Methods of Arts Integration course at the University of the Bahamas. We're going to be working together to understand what best practices are, understand what the context is, and as Shara Goldsmith and I intended for our work this summer, what works is relationship. And so we're hoping that by building the relationship between the artist and the teacher, we'll discern real Bahamian, true Bahamian methodologies. At the top, you see the PLC1. That's a professional learning community, just like ours. And those are the experts, the Ian Straughns, the Courtney Spears, the Keyshawn Monroes, the professionals, the Chris Justillians, who are the really high caliber performing artists in the country, who are going to squeeze for knowledge. Oh, and Naomi's on our team. we're squeezing them for their professionalism. They know the skills and knowledge required to perform at a high level, and they're going to help us shape the standards, as well as create a digital arts bank, which is going to provide information to the public at large, but certainly teachers. You know how you're looking for that lesson plan? Wouldn't it be great if it was a Bahamian song or a Bahamian video or Bahamian, that's our goal for the digital arts bank. In this chat with us now are our curriculum development team with Sharon Portier, Nicolene DeGrasse Johnson. We are focused on taking that work and turning it into a curriculum for the country. But just like in Trinidad and Tobago, not something that's only for the specialist teacher, the music teacher, the art teacher, but for all of the teachers in the classroom. That's why you all are so very important. The approach that we're taking is that it is not about specialization. It is about every child in every classroom, a different lens on what performing arts looks like in the classroom. So we'll have professional development as an ongoing experience. And eventually, my friends, especially those of you who are in the school system right now, this PLC2, the blue band, is another opportunity for us to meet. It's a once a month meeting from July to January to develop best practices so that this work is sustainable. I got this from Pamela Burnside, who's really been working so incredibly with UNESCO to get the Bahamas recognized non-tangible art forms like Junkanoo, the weaving, things like that. These are things that are really valuable to our culture. And globally, UNESCO is one of those organizations that has developed learning goals, 21st century learning goals that they think all children should be able to know and do. And for our purposes, we are in this class going to be looking at Bahamian education standards in science and social studies and math and reading and arts and language, that's fine. And we're going to be looking to see how we can use these UNESCO goals to integrate. Junkanoo is community, y'all. Can't tell me it's not. You can't tell me Junkanoo isn't a form of communication with the themes coming across clearly or not clearly, that it's not culture, that it doesn't take creativity, that it doesn't take critical thinking to get those parades organized, right? It's incredible, the confidence that I see in the junior Junkanoo kids, the pride that they have in their identity and marching down Bay Street, the collaboration it takes to build the costumes, to work together. I rushed with Colors for Independence the past few years. I was their original choreographer. That's what I should have started my introduction with. I'm Colors original choreographer, but I got to rush with them on Independence and to work with in rehearsal out in the hot, hot sun. I'm talking about Independence is in July, right? It was something. It was something. And commitment. It took commitment. So these are what I think are artists in the room. You know what I'm talking about. And for the teachers in the room, rather than be nervous and think, oh my gosh, I have to sing, oh my gosh, I have to dance, all this, I want you to think about focusing on these goals, because this is what we're talking about when we say performing arts education. The last thing that is a part of, well, the second to last thing that is a part of our curriculum lens and the way we're shaping our lens around how we're looking at performing arts education is through social and emotional learning. So this is work about 20, 30 years old. Oh my gosh, I'm getting so old so fast. It's 30 years old. I knew Roger Weisberg, who developed this work. He was a colleague of my father, who was a psychiatrist. And it's about intrapersonal skills like confidence, self-esteem, and interpersonal skills that we need, like conflict resolution. And I think we can all agree that, when we are collaborating on a Junkanoo project, when we're working together to get an art project, and we are building relationships, we're collaborating, we're practicing a skill that goes and follows us everywhere in our lives. So that is the work of social and emotional learning. And finally, we're about to interact and have some chat and conversation with this idea around social justice. So hold my hand for just one last slide before we have some discussion. And that is, what does that mean, social justice? In social justice curriculum, we're talking about affirming students' identities, making sure that we celebrate the diversity, because I know the Bahamian schools, particularly the public schools, are becoming increasingly diverse. If you go out to the Life for Key schools and the new school out west, I don't know the name of it, those schools are diverse. So we need to be able to make sure our Bahamian students can operate with students who are not necessarily like them. and see that not necessarily as a negative thing. You're just different, and that's okay. We're interested in teaching justice and inspiring action, because I don't want to, I know I'm an American, so I always get into funny water when I go here, but if it were me, right, and I had this country and I was born in this country that was only 50 something years old, I would be planning, like I would be taking action. I wouldn't want a bunch of students coming out of high school or elementary school who just follow directions and were really good listeners and really good at, basic literacy and math skills so that they could sell I would want my students to be able to identify social injustice. I would want them to see what was still needed and necessary in this young country and have the creativity and the imagination to take action. Excuse me. And so in the chat, so I can get some water, sure, help me. I can get water. I'm coughing.
What social justice topics would you engage your students? This is a chat prompt, guys. I'm seeing somebody say community. People are thinking. Give some time. Opportunity, community, and support. Okay. Tanya, do you want to say something? Yes, feel free.
Social justice, can you define that, please?
So I'll go back one slide and then I'll come back to this one. Oopsie, hold on, here I go. So funny, these little computers that we have do so much for us. There we go. Oh, it's giving me a pen or some other escape. So when we're talking about social justice, I'll give you an example of something that I thought was really interesting when I was living in the Bahamas. Do you guys remember that when they were trying to decide whether women should be able to pass their nationality onto their child? Yeah. And there was a vote and it didn't go that way. And I was surprised because I was thinking about women's rights and equality and things like that. So social justice might relate to the equality of women in the Bahamas, for example. When I moved to the Bahamas in 2000, I moved there really intentional about doing something about the pot cakes. That's really why I'm surprised I don't know Pamela Burnside, because I was so advocating and in the street and in the media and on the radio, trying to talk about responsibility and empathy and developing curriculum for children to understand what it was to be responsible for animals and welfare. When I think about social justice, I think about the Haitian population in the country. When I think about social justice, I think about economic justice, right? So that when someone comes to the country to build a new hospital, and we're not really clear on how many of those workers are Bahamian, or when someone comes to this country and says, oh, we're going to bring jobs, and no one really has this criticality of what kinds of jobs, like, like, let's be real clear, I think those are economic justice, social justice, environmental justice. I know that the Bahamas prides itself on its beaches and waters and its incredible ecosystem here and the reefs that I've been snorkeling my whole life. And to know that we're one oil explosion away or one cruise ship pollution moment away from some problem that would cause, like the sponge disaster. We've seen environmental problems in the past in the Bahamas, like with the harvesting of the sponge that we do no longer. So how about that for a definition? When we get into this example, there are even broader and more specific ideas around public services, right? Who gets to decide what the NIB is up, not up to, I don't want to say that, but like how those resources are distributed. Those could be things around social justice. We talk about roles in society. I'm very curious about the wigs that we still wear in the legal system in the Bahamas, though we're an independent, things like that. So why don't we, because we're a smaller group and we've had a chance to sort of reflect, I'm going to stop the share because I want to build this community and take a second just to talk about the social justice issues that our students are facing in the schools. Mr. Gibson?
Do apologize. I was eating breakfast.
Okay.
Can I come right back?
Oh yeah, sure. No,
I
I thought he took his microphone off because he was ready.
No, I'm ready, but I was eating breakfast at the same time. Apologies.
No worries.
All right.
All right. So
Listening.
I will say that I am a part of a WhatsApp group with Pamela Burnside and a number of other social activists, frankly, that care about the continuing violence in the Bahamas and are posting and working together as a collab. I mean, just using WhatsApp as a tool and organizing community events and things like that to make sure that children have a safe place to go and to figure what is at the root of what's going on in terms of gun violence, for example, in the Bahamas. For the teachers who are in the chat, I would really value and appreciate you telling me what kinds of social justice topics the children would be interested in, or you're already in learning about in the classroom.
I don't mind sharing. I
Thank you.
shared about social justice. I said societal role, and I chose that one stemming from the point of more programs within schools for children to be children. Earlier you said the minister mentioned where's the joy and where's the happiness. Recently, National Arts Festival for New Providence just ended, and I've always been an advocate for national arts, especially being a music teacher. And for instance, my school, we entered choir and dance. And, one person can't do it all. So, I would share, let everyone know the dates. And, you'd expect things like drama or even Broadway stuff. And for me now, it's just disappointing that there's not as many entries, I feel like that should be something big, or there should just be more opportunities for children to be children and do children-like things. And that's why I said societal role for children, more so children.
Absolutely fantastic and joy. And Shara, at some point, not today, is going to talk to us about dominant culture. And I know, because I live in the United States, that Starbucks is evidence of our dominant culture, that it's about work and caffeinate yourself and work some more. It's a culture of, oh, I'm so busy. I hardly slept last night. Oh, I've got 18 jobs. My friends are nodding their head looking at me like, Chris Carroll. Yes, because I live in a dominated culture where if I don't make enough money, then I can't buy all the stuff and I can't. These are values that we learn and imbibe through our society, through our school system, through our parents' values, etc. Anyone else would please help us give more context for what the children need and are facing in terms of social justice ideas in Bahamian schools?
Some of them are facing discrimination. We have a large Haitian population, and even within the communities, you would think that Blacks would not be discriminating against other Blacks, etc. But this whole ethnic identity, cultural identity, there's this disconnect between the Bahamian and the Haitian, the Bahamian and the Jamaican. And so they face that every day. I taught in the classroom for 20 years, and I know of Haitian parents, Haitian children who have anglicized their last names simply to fit in. And that to me is really very, very sad. And I know dealing with that kind of discrimination, I had to, in one particular class, I just had to teach about the Haitian Revolution and Haitian independence and what that meant. And I could see light bulbs going off because the students just didn't know. They just assumed that these were people who had no heritage, had no history, um, were all from this lower class coming here, seeking better opportunities, but taking their opportunities away from them. And so that is something very real for our young people, our children. Um, they face it every day. So that is something that we have to deal with.
Miss
Favorite
Minus,
topics.
Miss Minus hand jumped right up.
Yes, and Mr. Edwards as well, eh?
Mhm.
Oh, my hand went up after Lester. Not the Haitian conversation, but I chose benefits for the social thing because I think children need to see more benefits in the integration of arts and integrating themselves into the arts. The national arts, for me, growing up, I went to a private school and the school was not big on the arts. In fact, after grade 9, you couldn't even do music. You only could do art because it was a BJC for art, not for music. And I remember hearing about the National Arts Festival, but and being interested in wanting to go. So I thought if whoever does the calendar, if they discuss these events with teachers or anyone else, they would find different things happen at the same time. This year, GSSSA happened the same time as National Arts. I don't even know if there were a lot of entries or a lack of entries because of that. Because I heard some children had to choose if they wanted to be athletes or musicians. Or, and it was a bit of a mix up. But even if we have a lot of entries, I think being able to see it, if I'm not involved as a student, but I get to view someone doing drama, dance, music in a band, I might be interested in saying, oh, I want to do that too. Because I pride myself on getting the choir and band out there so the other children in the class see it is possible or it exists. Because some of the kids don't know that they have musical talent because they're not exposed to it. So I love National Arts because it exposes children, but I think if it was open where you could just bring your children to view what was happening at the time, that would even be better. That's a benefit of being able to view arts or the arts.
Thank you so much. That's exactly spot on in terms of one of the missions of our organization in our advocacy work is exposure. And so we have been bringing, we brought a deaf dancer down from California this year. We brought people from Barbados because we need to see and we of course support our own Bahamian teachers and choreographers with awards every year and have free public performances so that people can be inspired. Thank you for that. Mr. Edwards?
Good morning again. I don't know, my head was just like going in everywhere, especially when everyone is touching on things and so that I don't get overwhelmed. I can attest to the Haitian issue. In Eleuthera, the two schools that I'm at, well, actually, the one that I'm at here right now, and I'm fringing as I go along. We have Junkanoo coming up in 2 weeks. It's a large Haitian population here. And I'm wondering, why is it that we have so many students who are not speaking English? Why is it that the teaching program has not lend itself more to Creole, all right, as an elective, as something that must be done, so that when you come, you can teach something, because you know what it is, that these guys are just there like they're in the headlights, just staring at you and not understanding a word that you're saying. And then you have to have an interpreter and that kind of stuff. So that's one thing that I have a problem with. My next problem is these communities are making money for the government, but they're not putting it back into the communities here. So the schools are dilapidated. The children don't have all the necessities that they need here, the things that they need. All right. And then I'll go to those who are a bit older. When a child turns 16 here, it seems that they are allowed to be preyed upon. The guys know that 15 is a no-no, but 16 you can prey on them. Why is it the law isn't like real hard and fast and changed so that you say until they're 18 or 21? You know, so my daughter can go have sex and bring a grandkid into the home, and I can't do anything about that because she's 16. All right, so all these things just
That is so relevant. And I think what you're
Yeah.
bringing, I hope to my mind is y'all with me now. I'm gonna say something crazy. That's exactly how we're gonna change this world. Through understanding that, what is it, Shara? Something about diversity is not deviant, and being different, right, is okay. And that through the arts, we have the self-expression and this valuing of other people's cultures. Please, Mr. Gibson. Did I skip someone? I see two hands up. Let me hold on. Let me get my hosting skills back together.
Were you done saying what you were saying?
Yeah, no, I want to hear from you guys. I've heard myself speak for hours.
No, I was just listening to Mr. Joseph, and he made a strong point. I recalled some years back playing for the Lucha Jazz Festival, and we did a workshop at the Haynes Library. And about 90% of the students there were from Haitian descent. And there was a barrier in terms of trying to teach the students through language because a lot of the students did not speak English. But for the thing I saw in that, though, the majority of those students that came out wanting to learn were Haitian descent students, more so than our own Bahamian descent students. And I think this issue even stems from the home, because we have a tendency of telling our students, well, don't focus so much into the arts because there's no life in that field, no life in that direction. Focus on being a lawyer, doctor, the academics as much. And I recall even growing up, being shunned on because I said, in school, being a physics major, I wanted to go into being a musician as opposed to going into science. That was one aspect I wanted to just touch on. But I remember being in school as well. Why this integration was so important to me, because in high school I remember having to teach my music teacher private lessons after school, who was actually supposed to be my trumpet teacher, but he was my music teacher. And there's a big problem with that. Someone who's actually supposed to be teaching me, I'm actually giving him lessons after school. And the National Arts Program, I think, is a great initiative, but it has not kept the reputation it once had. And I think we need to go back and probably on the drawing board and see how best we can make it more attractive, because it has not been attracting the best of the best. Not much interest has been in preparing students for it as it once was. So I'm hoping that maybe these initiatives can change that, change those initiatives we have now that are just not doing what they once was. Pretty much that's it. That's my observation on what was being said during breakfast.
Really phenomenal, you guys. This is a great conversation. We have two other raised hands. I've got to be better at using my tools here with the computer. Please just mic off because go ahead, invite to speak. I don't know how to do it. Miss Robert, primary school, please.
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yes, that's better. Yes, that was better. Oh, we lost her again. We just had Robert CB promise. Oh, there she is.
Now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Great. Yes, I'm Mrs. Lewis, from AP Roberts. I wanted to share my thoughts on community and why it's so important. As Ms. Poiter said, I work at a school in P. Roberts, for those of you who don't know, has a very, very high population of students of Creole descent, Haitian descent. And community stuck out to me in the what you had on the screen, sorry. Because that's what I'm trying to do at the school. Yes, we may have high population children of patient defense, but there are also behavior difference. We're trying to teach the children that way across. We're all a part of this problem, and that is what unites us and makes us connected. There is a challenge because, of course, there are cultural differences. We have on staff, there's 2 people of Haitian descent. Everyone else is Bahamian, so there is that disconnect. But we try to unite the children on what's meaningful and important. I also heard the one, and that's our connection to E.P. Roberts. And so we're big on, well, I'm big on trying to promote us in Phoenixes and where the jewel of Angliston and things like that, so that we can get the children to buy into what makes us special and important. I also heard someone talking about the National Arts Festival, and this year was the first time that I did it. I had to launch the National Arts Festival since my days were here.
Ms. Roberts, I'm gonna pause you again because we had you and now we don't have you again. We get you, you're back in the tinfoil. We have you and we don't have you. It's a little scratchy. I think it's a lot. I'm gonna pause you and ask Tania Sands to continue.
No problem.
Sorry about that. Ms. Sands?
Hi, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, I just want to piggyback off of Mr. Lester Johnson when he spoke about societal role and children being children, allowing the students to be students. One of the things that I experience here in Grand Bahama with my students is the huge responsibility of them being an adult so fast that with education, it's second, and having to grow up so quickly and take on responsibilities of being an extra parent or having to find a job and having to do having to be that guardian for the younger siblings. And I have experienced students thus far being back home in Grand Bahama where they have so much incredible talent, but they have to give it up for adult responsibility. And there is a lack of support, there is lack of community. And it's like you have to, by the time they reach in grade 10, okay, you have to go get a job. You have to help mommy out with the bills. You have to go help daddy out with the bills. And it's like, and you have to go pick up baby sister, baby brother. And they don't have, because they don't have that support and that community, there's a lack of opportunity. And I have to maneuver and try to adjust and adapt just so that they can understand, hey, you could have your talent can help, but it just lacks so much. It's like it's a fight in a way. So
And so, yeah, and so again, it's interesting because look at the intersectionality of what we're talking about. It's not just economic injustice or economic opportunity, but it's this also, it's layer upon layer of issues around social justice, right? The education, the schooling, the economic opportunity. You guys, that was a phenomenal conversation. I'm gonna go back into sharing the slides now. We're gonna watch a film. 1 second, share screen, always the thing. And sound. We're going to watch a film. It's really powerful, Bahamian filmmaker. We're going to discuss watch the film. It's not long. It's not long, but it is settle in. It's 6 minutes. And I think we're into our why. Sharing. I am screen sharing, and I'm going to go to the slideshow. Shara, can you see the why? I can't see you guys anymore when I present.
We can
Yes.
see it, Chris, yes.
Thank you. And did we switch to this screen now?
Yes, it's there.
Fantastic. Okay, so this film is called Island Time by Christian Rose. And we're just going to enjoy it, but based on the conversation we just had, looking for cultural connections and this idea of identity. I am continuing and I am expanding, and here we go. Uh-oh. What? Sorry, friends. It's making me do something. Can we still see that? Yes, yes.
Yes,
Yes.
we can see it. Mhm.
Here, and I just keep care of this.
Unredeemable moments in time, disguised as lessons from weathered hands, hands that raised a generation, holding stories of trials and tribulations, yet weaving love, wary but unwavering, deeply rooted, bold and brassy like a tall, strong Gamalami, bearing the weight of family yet still nurturing me. Resilience like aged old traditions, courage of old encapsulating, captivating, never hesitating to outpour, outgive, outlive, rendering stories of hope, painting perfectly imperfect pictures of endurance, reassurance that where there's a will, there's a way. Staring at my reflection in this strong pillar, whom I can never be, yet strength of kings and queens runs through me, resides in me, shines through me, lives in me. Passionately pursuing something great I heard, trusting a framework designed with me in mind, or maybe not, yet supple in the porter's hand, orchestrating a path to transform a nation now embedded in this foundation, yet still driven by exploration, knowing that there are architects on my minefield, building unyielding character. Like soldiers, we march, led by builders, shapers, makers, shakers, yet challenging constructs with new insights, shunned by fixed minds which find knowledge too intimidating to explore. Resilient, we yearn for more. Freedom in individual expression, to be unboxed, uniquely celebrated as me, just me, to find my own strength, to look adversity dead in the eye, never to be shy or afraid, never to fade, but to rise. Sun-kissed shades of gold, reflecting an aura, paths illuminated, minds elevated, passing, never faded, forgotten, no, celebrated, deeply rooted, barely separated, we arise.
Hi, y'all. Welcome back. So very quickly, I know I've seen that movie. I can't even say how many times, and every time I'm like about to cry. It's so beautiful. So beautiful. Let's all pick get it. Let's go for the reactions. Can we try it? I'm just like a little choked up. It's such a beautiful film. Gonna try my reactions. Oh my gosh. Not me. My camera's on. There we go.
I have the cheap ones. I'm jealous.
Got the heart. I got some balloons. I got it all. So I think this is a small group. Let's just take some turns and mic off. And what did you notice and see? What did we see about culture? What did we see about identity? What were the lessons that we could use? So I'll say this again. In this work for this National Performing Arts Initiative, we are starting with Bahamian examples. We are starting with Bahamian examples of music, of dance, of drama, of film, and looking at those examples with our children to discern and understand what is there to gain? What are the skills and knowledge? What are the topics? What did you all see? Share away. I saw it's every time I see it, I see something else.
Pride and strength.
And you can feel free to chat too.
I saw pride. I saw, strength, even in poverty. Strength was bold and present. I saw a lot of it.
And I also think that that's what we're talking about again when we're talking about being responsive to all the students of all the different needs. Some children have and some children don't, right? And sometimes it's really hard to tell, isn't it? Right? We polish our children very nicely. So continue to, EP Roberts. Oh, there she is. Let's get her voice in the room, Shar. We want to hear from everyone. Please just mic off. Go ahead. You don't have to raise your hand. I think we've got it. We'll find a rhythm. What did you notice? Hannah? Miss Hannah?
Yeah, I really appreciated how we embraced our ancestors. You know, I loved the basket weaving and the grandson or the son or the family member, somebody, you know, young, learning that straw weaving, that work. And so if we can appreciate our ancestors and appreciate our elderly and all of what they have to offer and give back, you know, to share, because that we want to, you know, I look at myself as an ancestor, as an elder now, and giving back. And I really want to embrace the youth and share what I know, the knowledge that's been passed on to me. I'm 5 generations of musicians, and that rich heritage, I want to seed that into our youth. And so that's why I'm here. That's why I looked at the opportunity to be with this group to do that. Yeah, I enjoyed that film. Thank you.
Phenomenal. And there it is again, what I heard is when we're talking about this work and we're talking about, which we're getting to today, what is culturally responsive education, for the children to see themselves in the examples that we're giving, for the students also to have it modeled and shown to them that there's value in your own family. There's learning and teaching and information in your own household. We think we treat these children like they're coming to school for the first time empty and blank, that they're not coming full of culture, full of knowledge, full of information, full of skills. Shara.
I just wanted to relay what's happening in the chat. E.B. Roberts from A.B. Roberts Primary School. What's your first name? Somebody remind me of the first name there. Audra. Audrea?
Miss Lewis.
Audrea? Okay,
Yeah.
so Audrea said, I noticed the music, the drum beat in particular. I think that's our connection throughout the diaspora, how we respond when we hear the drums. It's in us, right? We can't escape that. One good drum lick and your body's responding. So yeah.
Phenomenal. Let's get another share as I relocate to my office. I'm camera off while I relocate.
I like the pull and the attraction of the water. You see the young boy jumping into the water and his friends going into the water, the strength of the water and how it brings us together, the connection. And for us here in the Bahamas, the sea is so powerful because not only does it provide our food, our sustenance, but it helps us as we transport ourselves from one island to the other, the mail boat, the sea, all of that is part of who we are. It's also a part of us as we seek to unwind and de-stress and all of that. So it's a powerful, water is a powerful, powerful medium.
Thank you, Sharon. And look at the interdisciplinary themes. Okay, teachers, I'm coming back at you. All right. So in this activity, it's called Visual Thinking Strategies. It'll be in your resource folder. And it's a way of jumping off. Oh, get it, Pamela Burnside. It's a way of jumping off into the idea that the students come with knowledge. They come with an ability to recognize and make big connections, important connections, broad understandings, but we have to give them that opportunity. So today I've actually modeled for you something called visual thinking strategies, where I showed, maybe I introduced a theme, or maybe constructivist, I didn't, and I just shared and allow the students to share with you what they took away from it. And then we begin to build our lessons around what the students are interested and invested in, build upon what they perceive and what they value, so that when we go to teach, they are connected and listening. I think that's really the goal, right, of that activity. So right now we're at, again, another hour. Are we just zooming through this, huh? We're just zooming right through. I'm going to give you a 5-minute break. So you come back right again at the hour, all right? And shake your legs, go to the restroom. When we come back, we're going to be talking about culture with Dr. Nicolene DeGrasse Johnson. And it's just been great hearing from you all. Please check out the other comments in the chat from our colleagues. We are getting a lot of good ideas, right? And seeing all of the different topics from one artwork. I'll see you guys in 5 minutes.
on your feet, onto the floor. It's time for you to have some fun. Just form a ring and clap your hands. We're gonna do the ring play dance. Ala bala chicken galala, ala bala boom. Ala bala chicken galala, ala bala boom. Ala bala chicken galala, ala bala boom. Ala bala chicken galala, ala bala. Let's go! Woo! Come on! Ring play time! All right! You in the place, you want to learn how to do this ring play thing. I on the stage, I can't go home cause the people shout and sing. This ring play thing, ting, 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 got me kinda wild. And I was fooled to think that this ring play out the style. You gotta put somebody right in the center.
Okay. Hey y'all, we're back. That's a really lively song, isn't it? I was just losing my mind in my office. Okay, so we are, somebody say thumbs up, you can hear my screen. What are we talking about? We've talked about the why. I think we had a very deep conversation just now around social values, social ills, the supports that are needed in the schools. You all are incredible resources. We talked about our lens, right? Why are we doing this? Because we need to change our lens on our students. Why? Because our students are changing, right? Because our society is changing. So in my mind right now, we are in the what. And what we're doing is called culturally responsive pedagogy. I know you all, it's like, I feel like I'm tricking you. You thought this was arts education? Well, arts is culture, right? And what the students need are these interpersonal, intrapersonal skills that you as artists know through your own artwork and collaborative experiences, how strengthening, what life skills you gain from the practice of art. Hopefully our classroom teachers will be able to collaborate with us and put those into lessons that relate to what they're already doing. We're not asking the teachers to do more. We're asking them to do it in a different way so that the students are more engaged and see themselves in the lessons presented. So I'm going to give over now the lecture and education of y'all to Dr. Nicolene DeGrasse Johnson. We've been talking quite a bit today about students' identity and culture. And I think that because Dr. DJ, as she's known by her students, I think that because she's from Jamaica, we also, we don't want to be so focused on the Bahamas that we don't recognize the regional relationships and also our connections to Africa, as this course explores Junkanoo, really recognizing sort of like a motherland, an influence from West Africa over all of our performing arts. I'll stop talking now and let Nicolene take it away. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay.
Good morning and thank you. But before we go any further, we have heard so much this morning. And I want you to give your personal shout out. I'm going to start. Mine is yeah. What is your open your mics. What's your personal shout out?
Yes, sir.
At the same time. Go ahead. Yeah. What's your personal shout out?
Yeah, man.
Hey. What's your personal shout out?
Hey.
Hey. There you go. Yeah. And so we are the embodiment of all our cultures. The African culture, the European culture, you name it, we are part of it, the Chinese culture. And so if we have to put it in a way that it makes sense to us, for us to be able to, I'm not quite sure the name of the person who said that, it's important for our children to understand what we do and how we do it. And for them to do that, you have to be whole. What do I mean by that? I have to be whole. Is by understanding our own story, our own processes, where we're coming from, and what will allow us to think about where we want to go. Because all these changes will not be done by the government. All these changes that we're talking about, all the things that we want to see in the arts, all the development for our young people will not come through our governments. It's going to come through us. And we have to be talking the same talk over and over and prepare the next generation. So we're the foundation. I want to start with one of my stories. I have several stories. My students want to know how old I am because I have so many stories. And this particular story is still living with me. In the 80s, I finished a program in Jamaica, my dance program in Jamaica, and I was going off to school in Tampa, Florida. And when I arrived in Tampa at the airport, for the first time in my life, I recognized something was wrong or something was different. But immediately I picked up that I was somewhere else. It was not the same. And I'm using all those descriptions because because I dance, the body takes in all your energy, your environment. The body speaks loudly. I don't sing. I wish I could. But the body takes on all of that. So everything is an embodied experience for me. And so when I got there, I was walking through the airport and I still felt, what is wrong? Something is wrong. My senses were going crazy. And then I saw my sister and her husband. And I said to myself, oh God, I'm the only Black person here. Seriously, in my head. This was in the 80s, early 80s, I think 82. And the minute I saw my sister and her husband, and her color is higher than my color. She's what we call high brown. And her husband the same color. And that was, for me, a click, like, whoa. I was the darkest person in that section of the airport. And I tell you, that lived with me since then. I went to my English class at university, and I had a young white professor. And when I submitted my first assignment, I noticed a lot of red marks. And I was not impressed because I thought I was pretty good. Sorry. And at the same time, I had a literature professor who was an older gentleman, was a writer himself. And then when I went to his class, I felt a little bit more comfortable. But when I handed my first assignment, he said to me, you are from an English colony. I'm like, huh? We're post-colonial. Anyway, well, bottom line was that what he was seeing was the way I wrote certain words, like color.
Yeah. Spelling.
Right, the spelling. So he was able to immediately pick up that this young lady was not an American. And it made a difference to me because when he said that, I was able to understand the other teacher and why she was marking up my paper. And so it's a signal to say, there is difference in the world. And as educators, how do we approach these differences? And so the idea of being culturally responsive or culturally sustaining in terms of our pedagogy is not a new concept. What we're now doing is to not only have it as a concept outside of who we are, but a concept for who we are as educators for our Caribbean children. And so my story is not different from your story in a particular instance in your life. Because my parents too also believed that I should have been something else. I should have been an engineer because I was good at physics and math. So when I presented the idea of being a dancer to them, they grappled a lot with it. My mother was freaking out because she didn't know what to do with that information, because her generation did not see us as being able to be self-sustaining, to be able to have dialogue that made sense to the rest of the world. And so that too became part of my story in terms of how do I educate the next generation? How do I facilitate knowledge within my teaching and learning situation? So when we look at a culturally responsive pedagogy, we're talking about the process through which all of us acquire and apply knowledge, skills, and attitude to make our world different. That is our own identity, for empathy, for their various types of skills that we want to see in our society, which includes critical thinking skills. And so that's what we are about. How do we take the knowledge, the information, the embodied learning that we have, and what do we do with that in terms of our young people? And so it brings us to a seriousness in terms of who we are, because we have several stories that will also help us to move along, but also hinders in terms of, or hinder us from being able to take our students to the next level. So we must interrogate self to understand, what are my cultural biases? What are the things I would like to see? What are the things that have changed and shaped how I think about music, dance, art? Because some persons will tell you, I have teachers who would say, if you're not able to point and flex and turn and twirl, you're not teaching dance. But then we're not creating dancers and musicians and artists of various type styles and so forth. We are about creating individuals who will change our world, who will be able to see themselves and create the curricula that is necessary for our children in this region. So we're no longer looking outside for persons to tell us how to be. So we are now creating environments in our spaces, in our thinking, in our collaboration with our students, in the type of learners, the type of thinkers, the type of governing bodies, decision takers that we would like to have later on in life. And we start early. We start with our own process. We start with the processes that are there. And so we're able to build on those. And then we look at our own identity. What does that mean? Who am I in this Caribbean? I love to say that I'm Jamaican. And that's why I wear my colors, because it also gives me a sense of self. And it's more than just the colors, but then it's an identity. When I travel to speak because I belong to this organization that's called Dance on the Child International. And within this organization, we have persons from all over the world. And when I go to a meeting, I wear my Jamaican colors. And somebody would say, oh, there's Nicolene, she's in her colors. And it's red, green, and gold, black, yellow, and green, because I am constantly reminded of who I am in the context of the world, and the fact that I may speak Wagwan, or I can talk in any way I want to. I can go to my patois anytime and bring up the patois and then go back to standard English, because I have to teach my students also that the dialogue in terms of their own speech is critical. So when we say, yeah, we know we're going. When we say Irish, we know we're going. But at the same time, I'm able to say, that's it. Let's go with that. In my travels, I used to work with the Caribbean Examination Council with the theater arts curriculum, and one of the writers of this curriculum, and became one of the assistant chiefs. And one year I was traveling to Barbados for a session, and I picked up an article in Caribbean Beat. And because I speak fast, if you have a question or a concern, you may feel free to stop. And I picked up an article in the Caribbean Beat that has stayed with me. And the reason, and the article was about Stuart Hall. I'm not quite sure if you're familiar with Stuart Hall. He was a cultural anthropologist. He actually wrote a lot about culture and the diaspora. And so his article was entitled, and I'm going to read from it, "Culture is Always a Translation." And he had some significant points that resonated with me as not only being Jamaican, but being a citizen of the world. And how I am able to, because I have had the opportunity to teach students from all over the region and students from different parts of the world. And how do I allow their voices to be part of their own education? How do I facilitate teaching and learning that will allow them to build on what they have? And Stuart Hall, I'm going to read 3 sections from this interview that he had. And I'm going to tell you why they stood out specifically. So the article is entitled, Culture is Always a Translation. and it reads, cultural studies was provoked for me by trying to think about Caribbean culture. What is it? What is Caribbean culture? When I went to England, I thought I was escaping Jamaica. And then within 2 years, all of Jamaica arrived in London, so that no escape was possible. I said to myself, well, what is the culture from which we folks are coming? Here is something that is very distinctive. I'm part of that. What is this culture? That's a question he left us with in part of the thing. And the next section, he writes, and I quote, the reason why I say culture is always a translation is that there is no pure culture. It's always a translation. Because Jamaican culture is a translation of European and African and Indian cultures. And that got me thinking. And so each time I am thinking about who I am, it's also about how many parts of my ancestry or which part of my ancestry I'm carrying forward. So this is what culture is. It's not something, and I'm quoting from him again, it's not something which stands still, which never moves. It is intrinsic. Culture is produced with each generation. We reproduce our own identities in the future rather than simply inherit them from the past. So we are creating a new culture here now by deciding that we would like to have arts, integrated arts in our schools. And he continues to say, if you think of culture always as a return to roots, R-O-O-T-S, you're missing the point. I think of culture as roots, R-O-U-T-E-S, the various routes by which people travel. Culture travels, culture moves, culture develops, culture changes, culture migrates, etc., etc., etc. So we are carrying our culture and sometimes various parts of different cultures with us each time. So our children, when we have them in front of us, our young people, our adults, you right here with me, you're bringing with you the culture from your homes, from your parents and grandparents, just like the video. We are grandmothers who we had the privilege of being around, if some of us who were so fortunate, would have impacted us in various ways that we're still carrying. Some of what we stand on in terms of our morals are also from that previous generation. And so what do we do with all of that? How do we expect our children to understand differently how they are if we don't allow them to feel, to know, to understand, why do I move the way I move? Why do I do this in this way? Who am I in this body? Who am I in this community? Who am I in this classroom? And why is this music that I hear so often allows me to move in this particular way? And why do we say the boy beside me, oh, miss, this boy don't have any rhythm? Miss, this girl don't know what she do because she can't move the way me move. And how do we accept all the parts? Because remember, we're not teaching them to be dancers and singers and musicians. We're teaching them to be humans who are able to understand self, who are able to understand others. And so that's the purpose of education and schooling. Education changes how we behave and how we are supposed to be in the world. But then we have a particular way of schooling that brings us back to a colonial state of being because we don't give our children a voice. We don't allow them to be, to explore. Nicolene, I love to do this. So stop doing that, child, and sit still, as opposed to, why is Nicolene moving like that all the time? How may I allow her, him, this other young child to do? So we have all these theories that we have studied over time, or not. And so within this course too, we have theories that we'll be using that when you're looking at these theories, not just to look at them because they're part of what we're doing right here, but how can we allow them to interrogate us, interrogate what we do, interrogate what we see, and how are we going to make the changes that are required by the various policies within our ministries of education to make the change. And so I would like to leave you in terms of being able to understand who you are, but then you don't exist in a vacuum. We exist in a particular world. And so I remember when I came first to the Bahamas, or Chris was always talking about Junkanoo and exploring Junkanoo. And when I came to the Bahamas and I saw the experience of Junkanoo, I was like, no, that's not Junkanoo for me. And so that sparked a whole different conversation in my head, in my body, and in what I do as a Jamaican, you know? And so I was able to see, because one of the things as artists, what is wonderful about who we are, we like to see what happens other places. And if that's not so, but all the artists that I know, we like to know what happens somewhere else. We like to know, you know, how did we come about all of this? We question a lot as artists, we do. And so that is what you're going to start, you know, writing down. What are the things you have questioned? And so I was questioning your Junkanoo against my Junkanoo. And so for starters, the music is different. You know, could we play a little bit of my Junkanoo music? Okay. Thank you, Chris. So our I'm not quite sure how many persons are familiar with the Jamaican Junkanoo. How many persons are familiar with the Jamaican Junkanoo? Don't know. Right, so the Jamaican Junkanoo is one of our oldest forms, and it started with our enslaved Africans who, you know, they had to find ways of coping, because we do that culturally. We find ways as human beings, we have to find ways of coping with our various types of situations. And that's how also in terms of social justice, the various ways we can actually use that. And so we have to find various ways of how we cope, how we do things. And so with that, our Junkanoo started from, we had enslaved Africans. And it was really about finding ways to incorporate what we do. So many of the early figures, which are we call characters, are coming from that time. We have the Jack in Green, which is the camouflage, all the things that are worn on top of. We have house Junkanoo, which a Junkanoo would carry a frame of the great house. We have the cow head and the horse head and their movements. And the music that you just heard consists of the bass drum and the rattle drum and the bamboo fife. And we have 14 parishes in Jamaica. And so any other type of music that is introduced on top of that would be from a particular area. So the elements of our Junkanoo consist of, and yours as well to an extent, costumes and music and dancing, but ours have two other components. They wear masks. It's a mask festival. It's a mask procession that happens at Christmas time. And I remember hearing the Junkanoo when I was a child. The minute I heard that music, you know, it had a fear inside of me that I was like, oh, Junkanoo come, because of all the characters. And they wore these masks, and they had one with a devil that had a fork. And so as a youngster, I would run and hide. I remember a particular instance when I did that. But as I got older and understood this cultural form, I recognized that for every time in our era in Jamaica, we add characters. So we have policeman Junkanoo. We have sailor, which is those, when we had the Kingston Harbor, we had the sailors coming off, and you know what happens when they come off in the harbor, they find a woman. And so we had poor gal as a character as well. So we had also when we had the influence of Europe, we had the red and the blue set girls as part of the pomp and pageantry of that. We had belly woman, which is a symbol of the female fertility. But the characters in the early years were all males. And so the mask was necessary. So then we had this masking that's part of our heritage as well. So we wear this mask when we want to make statements. And so within our Junkanoo, we had pantomime. That is, they did an entire play of things that they wanted to bring to the public. And then you couldn't say yes or no to it because it's pantomime. So we brought a lot of our culture in terms of that. So if you're game, I'll give you a few of the movements that came with our Junkanoo, that comes with the Junkanoo. Yes? Are we ready? So we have, but you got to open your thing so we can see.
I took the slideshow down, Nicolene, so we might turn our cameras on and get ready to move a little bit.
There you go.
Please
so we have the head, and the head movements, we're going to do two. The head movements are done by the cow head, the horse head, mainly, but all the characters do all the movements over time. And so we have the circle rotation. So, you know, when the bullets are out to charge, and if I was able to do it, then the legs, the leg would be moving, pushing back to charge. So we have this head movement, and then we charge, boom, that's the cow. And then we have the horse head, up and down. And that up and down action comes with a gallop. So we move like we're moving over things, like the horse. And that's head, circle, and we had forward and back. Then we have the shoulders, moving up and down. The shoulders, because this shoulder movement is done by all the characters, and you can add to it. So we have an in and out action. Let me see. In and out action with your arms going across. Boom, ba, in, out, in, out. And you move from side to side, and the shoulders going up. And that same action would also be the beggar. Because after a while, some of the groups needed funds, and so they added the beggar. So you have where you stand in a second position for those who dance, or open your legs, bend your knees, and the pelvis pushes forward and back, and your hands are to the side, and they have this action where you're begging money. So you put it out to when you're traveling in a procession. There you go. There you go. Tanya, open the legs wide. I'm seeing you there, right? And then jump, put the arms to the side. There you go. There you go. Hey, there you go. That's it. That's it. Thank you. I'm seeing your full body. There you go. So we had that. And then for the character, that's the belly woman, we rub the belly. We rub the belly as we jump. Yeah, we rub the belly. There you go. There you go. There you go. So let's get some music and put all these things together. Let's add the music to it.
DJ.
Yeah, go up with DJ. We can do this.
Okay, Lamont.
Okay, well, we're going to do it without the music. Ready? We're going to put all the parts together. We start with the head rotating, and then we go forward and back. Then we go with the shoulders and the arms, and they go with the side movement, and then we rub the belly. Ready? Head first. And circle, 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 and forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, and shoulders, shoulder, ta, 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 and beg, onto the side and we beg, tell this, and beg, Papa, rub the belly. And so, thank you. Very good. So the DJ, we good DJ. And so when we have that Junkanoo as part of our theater arts experience for our young people, we put it in a way that will empower our children. Because they see it, they know what it is, but what does it mean for them? You know, so for the CXC theater arts curriculum, we put it in a box as one of our cultural forms in the region. And our students are able to understand why, how to do it, and how you can use it for empowerment. What does it teach you about who you are as a cultural being? How are you able to place it in our history? And how are you able to look at other masquerade dances throughout the region and their history, so that as a Caribbean person, you get a better understanding of why you do certain things and how you're able to use it to create new information. Because that's also part of what we do, the critical thinking component, so that our children don't think that because of culture, they're not whole, or because of the type of culture, which is the African culture, they're less than, but be able to be empowered by this culture. Yes? I'll stop there for today. If you have any questions or concerns, please ask.
Thank you so much, Nicolene. So what I would like to get going on right now, because this is our first time, is we haven't done breakout groups. We have 30 minutes left in our time together today. And so what I would like to do is I'm going to build 4 breakout groups. And I'm doing this right now. I should have been doing that while you were talking, Nicolene. I was so caught up in your presentation. I was supposed to be building my breakout groups. We planned this. But why don't you go ahead and drop in the chat while we're all still together? What connections have you made? What didn't you know about Jamaican Junkanoo? When we've done this presentation before, I was surprised at how many people were unaware. There's an element to it, Nicolene, if I'm right, that in your Junkanoo, people go house to house and collect money. That there really is a parish, you're collecting, taking up a collection. Can you say a little bit about that?
Right. So they do it if they, depending on a route. If they're in a residential area, they will do that. They knock on your door, try hide if you're a little girl. And but when they're doing the procession, persons gather on the roadside. So they go to the people on the road as they process and beg, because they use it in their communities as well to buy costumes and to build their own cultural dynamics in terms of whatever they need, music, instruments and stuff like that. So yes.
So we're going to go out to the breakout rooms. Type in the chat really quickly. Oh, please, Mr. Gibson, go for it. Please speak.
Thanks. Question, Ms. Johnson, is Junkanoo spelled the same way that we spell it here in the Bahamas?
Excellent question. I tell you, I have about 3 or 4 spelling for Junkanoo for us. Because of our, like, for example, the European spelling is Junkanoo. And so that comes with a whole different history in terms of what that meant in the early years. So we have Junkanoo. I think you spell it, how do you spell it? I see it somewhere. You have, you have it, yes, Junkanoo, I think. Right, we have it as Jonkonnu as one of our spelling. And so if you look at various articles, you'll see different spellings. And as I said before, including Junkanoo.
And what's exciting about this whole course, we're using our subject as Junkanoo. So every week, we're going to get a different presenter talking about their research, their experiences, and their practices. So I hope this was a great taste of just, hey, they even do Junkanoo in Jamaica. What does that have to do with Africa, our regional explorations, our studies? What I've done now is I've created 3 breakout rooms. We have 4 facilitators today. We have 3 breakout rooms, and we're going to take 12 minutes because yesterday 10 minutes wasn't enough for anybody. So when we go into these rooms, we'll come back at 50. That's my plan of whatever kind of math that is, but we'll come back at 11:50 for a closure. We have one breakout room that is for high school with Dr. Nicholas DeGrasse Johnson. If you're a high school teacher, go that way. If you are teaching artists, but you think you might be more comfortable working with older students, you might not be sure yet. But if you think you're going to want to try a high school lesson first, then please join Dr. Nicholas DeGrasse Johnson. Shara has a background in special education and early childhood. So if you are a classroom teacher in early primary or your students or you're interested in special education, please join Shara's chat. A breakout. And I think if you go to your bottom of your screen, you'll see breakouts as a choice. And for Sharon Portier, our professor for our course, she is going to be covering our middle school students. So if you're a teaching artist and you like that funky age, I can't even handle a pre-teenager. It's hard on my soul. But if those are your people, if you like that age group, go for Sharon Portier's chat. And I'm going to stay right here with people who are interested in primary education and primary students, sort of those middle band grades. Are you ready to
Just
break out?
remind us once again about what our focus is in the chat before we head out.
Do you want me to drop it in the chat? Oh, what are we doing? We're discussing, thank you, baby. Yeah, we are discussing the applications of our mini lesson. We just got some new information from Nicolene. How could we insert this into our curriculum? Today, we've talked about identity. We've talked about social justice standards. We've talked about social and emotional learning, those Common Core UNESCO, communication, collaboration, creativity. We're going to go into our breakout sessions and have a conversation about how we might see this lesson inside a classroom, this content that she's provided, these concepts that we've discussed today inside our classrooms. Thank you, Shar, for that clarification.
How do we access the breakout?
So if you go to your bottom toolbar of your Zoom screen, and next to me, I have the reaction button that Shara showed us how to use, the share arrow, and then it should show little squares, 4 little squares, breakout rooms.
Okay, I don't have that. I have the AI companion.
You might need to
be under
expand
more.
your,
Yeah.
go to full screen. You might not be able to find it under the more.
Okay.
So if you make,
I got it.
There we go. So if you make
Okay.
your screen as big as possible, you'll get the full set of toolbars, which will enable you to click on your breakout room. You are invited. Again, it says it there. High school is DJ. Please bye-bye if you're high school teachers or interested in students that are high school students. Dr. DJ's already disappeared. If you are interested in special needs students or early primary students, please join Shaw and her group out. She's going to
You're frozen.
And if you're primary, you can stay with me. Hello, Angelique McKay. Welcome to class.
Hello.
Thanks for coming in. I apologize for not forwarding that to you. I had a little group WhatsApp chat that I
No problem.
asked it. We're going to make a group chat for these professors.
Chris, I don't see the primary and the
I'm primary.
Yeah,
If you're primary, stay right here with me, friend.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to go anywhere. I apologize. If you're
Okay.
if you're interested in primary students, then you get to stay right here with me.
Okay.
And
I'm still not getting that option. I'm just getting meeting settings.
So
And
does it look like a regular screen and you don't want meeting settings? It's not that complicated. Do you see on the bottom where you have your audio and video?
All right, so I have reaction, share, record, AI
Yeah.
companion, notes, and more.
Go to more.
More is not giving me any option other than meeting settings.
And no breakout rooms.
No breakout rooms.
Well, you're going to have to stay with me, Mr. Gibson.
I think, Shorts, were you interested in primary anyway?
Yeah, of course.
You're going to have to stay with me. Okay. So Sharon only has one person in her middle school class, though. Sharon Portier. And who is also interested in middle school grades. I need to send some people to Sharon. And let me mic off someone. Yeah. So if there's someone else that can leave to go to.
I'll leave then.
Hey, I'm sorry, Mr. Edwards. I'll see you soon. Okay.
Okay.
go to Sharon's middle school grade. Can I have a few more people? Maybe Angelique McKay, you might want to depart, or Pamela go visit with Sharon Portier in her room. And
I'm opting to stay in primary because I believe in bending the tree while it's young.
I do too, sister. You stay right here with me then. But if any, I just want to make sure we don't just have those two people in the chat. We're almost all distributed.
I'll go over.
Okay, thank you. And then we have someone unidentified on the iPhone. There we go. Now we're a little more balanced. Now we're a little more balanced. Is there anyone else with special needs who would like to, students who would like to go with Shar because she only has 2 in her chat? If I could have someone go into that conversation, that would break us out nicely. Because I've got 9 people in this room, y'all spread out. Next time I'm gonna have to, Urellis, what, are you primary as well? Urellis? Okay, Teddy. Teddy, would you mind, just so for time's sake, would you mind joining Shar in the special needs and early primary class?
Okay, sure, okay.
I want to stay with you.
And I know y'all want to stay with me. I got you. Okay, ready? Here we go.
So join the break, all right.
Yeah, try Shar's group. All right, friends. So what have we, I'm going to make sure I turn on my AI transcription here so I can catch that. What we're talking about here in the room, that's my job. Let's go. No, it's already on. What will we do with Nicolene's lesson on Jamaica? Any ideas for the group so far? And what we've been talking about today in terms of culture and identity and communication? You can all keep your mics off. This is the point. It's a small group. We're having a conversation. You can just mic off, and I think we can manage a small group of conversation.
Yeah. This one I recognized when she talked about the language. When we break out into dialect or the proper English at times. I like that because I want to, with our children, it helps them to just be more of who they are and be comfortable in their skin and be comfortable in who they are and like self-acceptance and self-image. So that's important for nurturing the self-image. And when that is nurtured, what happens is our self-esteem just, blossoms. So if we can put that into our creativity with our music, our dancing, that aspect also.
And really bringing back to how we started with Sharon Portier talking about our Haitian students.
Yes, right. That's right.
Why not play a Haitian song for the students to sing and learn? Why not share, parts of culture that those children will recognize their own language. They'll recognize their own identity within the art form that we can all engage in, right? So whether they're Jamaican students in the class, what, you had Jamaican Junkanoo? Oh my goodness, yes, I did, that allows them to have their own identity. What other kind of, yeah, please.
Too. I got to experience a school. They decided to have this parade, and they found out they had over 26 different nationalities, and they didn't even realize it just because of, okay, we're gonna do this parade and parade as your heritage. What is that? Well, we could do the same thing with dance and music. Do your thing, yeah.
Absolutely, Mr. Gibson.
I was just going to piggyback on what you said, but someone said to me a long time ago, one of the reasons why New York is so powerful for being one of the strongest states in the United States is because of diversity, because it lends to everything. You can find everything in one spot. But I was listening to Ms. Johnson speak, and I was kind of blown away about just how much history and how much you can just speak in depth as to relates to Junkanoo. And how little we know about our own Junkanoo, in depth as to the different ways they have of spelling Junkanoo, in depth of the different choreographed dancing that would be so easy just to implement to kids getting into Junkanoo, knowing that this is the dance for this is the dance for that. It's catchy. But making it so much easier and kind of not only making it easier, but in depth in a way where she got into details as the spirituality of the Junkanoo, the movement and all that good stuff. And then not being ignorant as a child, but growing up as an adult and understanding the meaning of Junkanoo for her. And for us, it's just kind of a celebration and a means of of coming out for one time of the year, one or two times for the year, but more of a money aspect, money gains aspect, not much so a spiritual and an education realm to it. So it was just kind of amazing to listen to us speak about Junkanoo and just go into depth with the dancing and the costumes and all that good stuff and what the meaning is for them.
But one of the things we're going to be talking about, I'm sure you guys all remember from your early childhood, compare and contrast lessons, right? Where we learn by comparing and contrasting and making Venn diagrams and how are things different. But we're going to step that up another level and talk about criticality, right? And talk about, for example, in Nicolene's form, people wear masks in Junkanoo. And that really has to do with hiding your identity so that you can make social political commentary. In the Bahamas, our Junkanoo has been shaped. It is, I would agree with you, very, it's got an economic thing. We definitely come out as a twice-a-year festival, but what about comparing and contrasting what rushing and Junkanoo looks like on the Family Islands compared to how it's done in Nassau? And how did Nassau's Junkanoo change over time? I mean, there's so many things that we can look at in terms of this, just the idea of compare and contrast. Compare and contrast costumes. Compare and contrast the music. Compare and contrast the social history behind, I mean, just right there, right? Compare and contrast, do they have junior Junkanoo in Jamaica? I don't, I want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. Who else would like to share around some connections that we saw? And to this idea, I think Junkanoo is community here, Mr. Gibson. I think Junkanoo in the Bahamas is really, I'm colors. I'm colors. That's my identity. That's my group. That's my community. I have a relationship. When I had Shirley's house and was trying to keep Shirley's house in shape and needed somebody to do the tile work, I could call one of my Junkanoo brothers and know that they weren't going to rip me off and did fantastic, right? They helped me survive my first few years on the island as an adult because I had relationship. So I think Junkanoo here is very, very much a part of identity, community. There are people who have their family relationships through Junkanoo. And then there's also this informal chosen family that we have in Junkanoo. So really deep conversations around social emotional learning, which is what we need. We have a little more time, so more comments, please. I'm going to check the chat. We should have a chat for this as well. Yes, we do. So would someone else see another connection maybe to communication, culture, collaboration?
Can I go again? Is it okay?
Yeah.
I just want to say how I really feel that through the methods that we're going to be using, we can really delve into history lessons really easy. Now, all of a sudden, subject teaching, that becomes so easy. Look at that.
I have a story for you. I was hired in Chicago in America to do Porgy and Bess. It's all the musicians know Porgy and Bess. It's pretty popular American culture. But it was written by George Gershwin, the musician, composed. The book was scored, written by him, but it was based on a white man's novel from the South Carolina Sea Islands, a rich white man. And this rich white man who wrote the story, the novel that was Porgy and Bess, he wrote that story based on his black nanny's ghost tales. The story of Porgy and Bess, that ghost story, is the same story of Sammy Swain. It's a Bahamian folktale. And when I said to myself, why is Porgy and Bess
Connection.
Sammy Swain? How is that? That's where I started. I'm like, I know this story. This is the story of Sammy Swain. Blind beggar man, harm man, falls in love with a woman. He becomes a ghost, comes to talk. I know that story. Shirley did that with yeah, right? Right. But here's what I understood through history. When the United States of America won the Revolutionary War, those loyalists, those English people who were trying to farm that cotton and do that tobacco and all that indigo and stuff in the Sea Islands, they were given the Bahama spaces as British territory to go farm there. That's why we have those white islands of Exuma, those snowy cotton islands in Exuma. That's why we have all these failed plantations. But in Red Bay's Andros, what they have is a perfect preservation of the Junkanoo rush out, of the burial traditions. This is my research. The burial traditions of the Gullah Sea Island people. They have the same language and bungi and cooking and basket weaving and rushing.
Just came off vacation with color folk. And it's amazing the similarities we have with color people.
You are Gullah people. I mean,
yes, the connection.
Here's what's interesting about the history of the Bahamas, and Angelica's gonna dive, she's like, get out of my lecture. But this idea that people came here over time, that sure people were brought here from Ghana, but also there were emancipated Africans dropped off from other places who were left, to fend for themselves. British were taking advantage of the territorial seas and the liberation of Africans in 33. So really, when we talk about Africanity in the Bahamas, it's layers of influence on Junkanoo. People came from the Americas, right, to Red Bay's Andros with a form of Junkanoo. And so those, yes, I agree with you, Tanya. History is easy. Miss Roberts? B.B. Roberts, I'm saying Miss Roberts. Andrea?
Hi, can you hear me better now?
Can't believe it. We've been missing this voice. We've been wanting to hear this voice all night, all day. Wow.
Yes, yeah, I've been having some challenges, but I'm definitely going to get it together for next week. I know this may be a hard question, but is there a move with this new initiative to possibly try to create a text that students and teachers can use? I know in the primary school we have something called Preserving Our Heritage, and when I was in the classroom, it was a resource that I used because in some schools we just didn't have basal readers. We didn't have reading textbooks for the children. And so we used it. It was the readability level was appropriate, and it was culturally based because the stories and everything were Bahamian stories. So it taught the children about the country, about their island.
But it was also printed and cost $60. Right? It was also
yeah, it wasn't the cheapest book either. But it was really, really good. And it's something that, at my school we still use. It's just that, I don't think they've printed a lot of them, so it's really hard to find them now. So with this new initiative that you're spearheading, is there a move towards getting a text that the teachers, or a resource book that the teachers can use?
We have two different materials that are going to be coming out around that. The first one is a public-facing digital arts bank, where I'm telling you all the truth right now, full disclosure, the lessons that you will be creating with your partners for this course, we're going to polish those up, and they're going to be a part of those free resources of example lessons. When we met with the arts professionals, the professional learning community one, they're giving us the videos that you saw today. They're giving us the music samples. So that if I'm the classroom teacher, I can go online to the digital arts bank and grab lesson plans, get basic resources like Nicolene's Junkanoo form, and then the teacher should be either to build their own lessons or adapt a lesson that has been provided. I'm not going to be critical of the Ministry of Education because they are our partner, but when they did the Junkanoo in January curriculum, what they offered were lessons to the teachers around integrating Junkanoo. That's great, but that's only like, you didn't teach me how to integrate. I want the teachers to be able to say, half of my kids are Haitian. I want to do the lesson this way. Or my students don't have that. We really, in order for a teacher to be fully engaged, you must give them choice because they know their students best. And so I hope that you all will be providing new perspectives, different ways of working. But to answer your question, yes, the other document we're creating is a teacher workbook, and it is fully for the classroom teacher for support in methods of integration. And that is going to be published this summer in July when we're done with the standards. That's a yes and a yes. Okay.
Okay, I'm also glad that you mentioned the Junkanoo rollout in January because I have my own, as a principal, I have my own issues with how that was rolled out. And I know, and I'm an employee of the Ministry of Education, so I'm definitely not going to knock them. But there's one thing that the Ministry of Education hasn't gotten a good handle on is communication and information trickling from the top down to where it counts into the schools, especially into the hands of the teachers. Because if I don't know as the principal the information, how can I pass it on to my teachers? And so I understand why I'm sitting in a class like this and I have no performing arts background other than I like to go and watch the stuff. So I hope that through this initiative, the communication gets to where it counts, because it doesn't make any sense for it to just sit at the Ministry of Education on Thompson Boulevard when I'm on Balfour Avenue and I need the information to pass on to my students and teachers.
It is really, I'm going to send a message out very quickly to everyone that we have 1 minute. I think I'm just going to close the breakout rooms and then they get that message. Close all rooms. Close all rooms. So we have 1 minute left. I have to go back to downstairs. I'm at Loyola University right now, where I'm putting on Legally Blonde, the musical. I am the director of a college musical production, and I cast Elle Woods as a Black girl. So let's figure that out. Okay. You want to talk about power and privilege and positional authority now? It's been really eye-opening for the kids to see color. Colorblind casting doesn't make sense, right? So it does not make sense. So I've made Elle Woods Black, and all of her feminine adversity and challenges at Harvard and the difficulties she's having with romance and being presented as a proper wife. What's this about now? And the kids are not ready. I'll just say that they're not ready.
Excuse me.
But yes,
Contact in the chat.
yes.
Your email or
Yes. So there are three things to do. We will be sending out a Google Drive access, and my email is at shirleyhallbass@gmail.com. We'll have that for you. Everyone is going to get access to a Google Drive, and that's going to have the summary. It's going to have the slideshow. It's going to have some handouts like today's handout. Shara's going to pop in the chat. Just that one, Shara. Just that one handout. We're still cleaning the folder for today. She's going to drop that in the chat. But if we're all back right now, we need to get ready to close out for our first C-Learn class. This is ARTS900, y'all, and I'm so delighted that you've come to join us. Shara, did you take a screenshot of everyone in the room? And if you guys could, no, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. And then if you guys could just make sure, because I'm not, like, we're talking about government, and Nicolene said what? It's starting with us. The government is going to do this. I heard Nicolene say that today. We are the grassroots movement. We are doing this work. So should UB not give me a roster with all of your email contacts, I want to make sure that you type your email in this chat right now so we have record at least one time. So take a moment to type your name and your email in the chat, and underneath that, please tell me your grade level interest and if you're a teacher or teaching artist. Those are the two groups of people. Delighted to have the administrator in here because you're now our spy in terms of the efficacy of our communications. We want to make sure this initiative is done properly, and we want to make sure that our messages are sent in a way that are well received and not received in frustration, because that stuff comes last minute and nobody wants to do that. I want to thank my facilitators today for being so patient with me as we had 3 different presentations today to give. This week, we saw 3 different cohorts that are representing this initiative, and it was a lot of work, but I'm so happy that we're on board. Shara has put a document in the chat that's just really a summary of arts integration, but it's from a very well-respected arts integration consortium in the United States that I'm borrowing from like 17 different sources. This is all I've ever taught y'all. So you're going to be seeing resources from many places. And then I want to share that we do have a textbook. We only have 5 minutes. Oh, we have no minutes left. I will share Shara has it up. She's holding it up. It's called Unearthing Joy. It is available on Amazon.com as a Kindle reader text. But I would encourage you, even though it's short, we're already in the class, to get it in physical form, because as we were just saying, it's a wonderful book for coloring, and they've got QR codes for music. It's the most amazing book you'll see. But please look at your syllabus. The name of the book is in the syllabus that was shared with you. It is available on Amazon digitally. Y'all, that was our time. Has everyone filled out their name in the chat? Shara, can you enter Shirley Bass Gmail in the chat for them so they can drop that, our email? Shirley Bass Project Gmail. Next week, our lecturer is the inspiration for this course. Her name, I'm sure you know her, is Arlene Nash Ferguson. She is Junkanoo embodied, I think, and that she is a woman doing this form and so knowledgeable. I'm really looking forward to having conversations. And then after she gives her presentation, we'll have a conversation around teaching and learning methodologies, how to collaborate with people, and then we'll go back into some breakout groups. All right? All right, y'all. Thank you so much. I got to go downstairs and direct. For my team, we'll have to debrief at another time. I'll send you a schedule. And for our participants, please know that you should have received your syllabus with the invitation link. But if you have not, everything will be shared to you in a Google Drive with resources and information. Each week, you'll get access to a new Google Drive folder. Okay? Thank you so much for coming, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks all.
Great job.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Y'all take care.
Thank you. Good night.
Good.
See you guys. Take care.
All right,
Tara, thank you
take
for
care.
Next
coming.
week.
All right.
Girl, Charo, baby. Thank you. Nicolene, always.
Later shots.
Have a nice
Bye,
weekend.
Sean. Bye, Sean. Bye, Sean.
Bye-bye, you guys.
All right.